Before I get started, I have to say hello to my kids who are in Hawaii. Aloha, I love you. Hope you're having a great vacation out there. I know they're getting to do some fun things. And I miss them not being here, but I know that they're having a great time. I want to congratulate Tulane and Houston on an amazing season. And getting here, Houston dominated. Tulane really had to work hard to get here. I thought Coach Barnes did a great job of coming over and preparing by playing us and USF, and trying to put his team a little bit through adversity. Well, it turns out as their season went on, they had plenty of adversity that they had to work their way through. And I'm proud of him and his program for making it here, and congrats to him and David for what they did. I said this in the press release that went out today. I think that the last 2 or 3 weeks that Temple has experienced could very well be the greatest closing sequence of any American volleyball team in the history of the American Conference. If you think what they had to do just to be here, first of all, they needed us to beat USF. Okay, check that off. They had to beat Cincinnati twice. Check that off. Then they come here and then they get number 1 seed Houston, and nobody gave them a chance. I thought they were pretty good. I thought they were getting better. And they went out there and they took care of business. And that was, like I said in the press release, that's really scary because we are playing the hottest team at the hottest time, and we see it all the time in tournament play. The team that just gets hot just keeps going. And it was really important for us to come out strong and win that first set, because if we didn't win that first set, it was going to be tough. I thought they really pushed back well in that second set. That was just a coin flip. It just came down to, the stats were tied right across the board. They just made one more big play than we did. But I thought just somehow after that second set, we found a gear. We found an urgency. We found something. And whatever we found, I like it, because we really put the pedal to the metal and took off with it. So I want to thank the University of Cincinnati for hosting this tournament. This is not easy to do. When we hosted it last year, we said that's the last year we're hosting. We don't want to do it anymore. Of course, it's pretty nice hosting at your own place. So they're going to give it to us. We'll take it. But it's not much fun to host a tournament. And so kudos to the University of Cincinnati for their hospitality. They were amazing. And of course, the American Athletic Conference. I am just thankful that we had a chance to play volleyball this year. I didn't know if we're going to have a chance to play for any kind of championship. I didn't know if it was going to be for the championship of Florida. I didn't know what it was going to be for. And I'm really glad that things shaked out the way they did, and we were able to play for something meaningful, play for a third in a row. Just as a program, we feel very fortunate to have been in this situation, have that opportunity. As a coach, I feel fortunate to have the coaches around me, the student athletes around me, the administration. Both Brad and Terry were here to witness this. We couldn't be more well supported and loved by those around us, and that's a really wonderful feeling.
3 straight conference championships, 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances, the 3rd time in the Division I era for this program they have done that. They did it from 92 to 97, and then the last time from 01 to 03, which you know very well, that 03 team you've honored, obviously, in your honor roll. What does that mean? Put that in context as somebody who's a historian. To do this 3 straight years for this program, win the conference title, and get to the NCAA's 3 straight years.
We have so much respect for those teams, the national championship teams and the teams that won it 3 in a row. It's tough to win anything 3 in a row because you have people coming and going, people graduating. And we were pretty lucky that the first one was with a bunch of freshmen. The second one with freshmen that decided they didn't want to give it up their sophomore year and now to come back as juniors and do it again. And so it's a very unique 3 in a row. It's a testament, and it's us trying to honor the history in the past that was put before us of success I'm glad that we could go out there and get that third one for the legacy of the program more than anything else. I think this is our fourth now in 6 years. And, I know the question comes up, where does this one rank? I always thought that the 14 team was the most athletically gifted team that I had since I was here. The athletes across the board were just unbelievable. That the improbable year was the 18 year, when all, the group that we have now is a bunch of freshmen. And, we just went out there and they were dominant as freshmen. I think it's just, ignorance is bliss. They didn't know any better and they just went out and they won it. That the next year, the 19 year, it was just technical. It was precision. It was surgical. They knew the game. They understood what they wanted to do, but they weren't the best team in the league. Cincinnati was. And, got it handed to them twice by Cincinnati. But on that one day, that one day in November, things just lined up just right. We got the right matchups and we made it happen and took that conference championship. This year, it's not the most athletic. It's not the most precision and surgical. It is the damn toughest team that at least I've had since I've been here, coaching for 25 years. And I'm telling you, it's one of the toughest, mentally strong, don't give up, considering everything they had to go through for the year. They just never took their eyes off of trying to win one more of these, and that's a lot to do with the leadership. That's a lot to do with Narissa. That's a lot to do with McKenna. That's a lot to do with Kat Westlich. That's a lot to do with those that have been here for a while. Amber, it has a lot to do with what they add into in terms of culture. Speaking of Amber, we missed Amber this weekend. We missed her smile. We missed her silliness. We missed how she lightens the mood sometimes. We could have used that a couple times yesterday, but thank God we have 3 starting setters. We have 3 starting setters, and not many programs have 3 starting setters. We are so fortunate to have Dreszy Pass, who started the entire first half of the year, and then Emily went in and started after that. And Dreszy, a lot of players would say, well, I have no meaning or worth on this team, so I'm going to stop. Dreszy was in working early before everybody every day. Dreszy was down there with Jenny setting targets. Dreszy was working on her defense. Dreszy was doing everything she could to either get back into the starting lineup or make sure she was ready if something happened. I have so much respect for that because she didn't have to do that. And sure enough, when it comes up in the most, Dreszy gets thrown right back into the starting lineup. And we knew we only had 2 days to work with it. That's what felt funky. It's a different makeup on the floor. And in volleyball, that changes everything. And that's yesterday. We're fortunate we made it through that with a win. But I also felt like if we made it through yesterday, we'd get into today and we'd be a completely different team. Because it's not, are we going to be good enough? Are we good enough? It was, okay, we know we're good enough. We just have to eliminate these mistakes, because it wasn't the setters that were making mistakes. It was everybody else. The setters just went out and played a rock solid game. But I got to tip my hat to Dreszy for coming off the bench and taking the floor like a setter one. Or like, you talk about a QB1 in football, man, she just took the floor like it was old hat to her. She was completely unfazed by this and truly the unsung hero of this weekend. We miss Amber. We can't wait to have Amber back. Hopefully everything lines up in time and she's back before we head to Omaha. But man, what a weekend Emily and Dreszy had. And I'm so proud of both of them. But for Dreszy not giving up the whole year and just keep grinding and making sure that the scout team was ran to perfection every time, I tip the hat to her.
McKenna described today as funky as well, but that the team communicated better, and that was key to victory. You saw that as well.
It didn't feel normal. I mean, we've been doing something for 6 weeks, 30 some odd practices, and all of a sudden you make a change, even just a little change here and there. I mean, if I move right sides from one to the other, middles from it changes everything. And so we're really judicious about how we make changes. So it's always going to have that, well, this isn't what we're used to feeling. But I think the team just embraced that a lot more today and relaxed and knew that even though there was the change, it was going to be fine. We still had the ability to go out and put up the type of numbers that we've been putting up the last couple of weeks. And we did that today. What did we hit? 375 as a group after barely scratching 100 yesterday. And so again, that's not the setters. The setters were no different today than what they were yesterday. They've been great all weekend. It was just the hitters settling down saying, okay, the ball's going to come out this way and it's going to arc this way. And I'm just going to have to adjust to it. And these are what's open. And this is where I'm going to go with it. And, everybody just kind of accommodated to the change and said, no excuses. We could have made a lot of excuses. I mean, Tolly's back tightened up yesterday. We didn't talk about that. I mean, she really struggled with just feeling good. We had to give her a break at the end because of it. Then today, what else could go wrong this week? As we're getting off the bus, Narissa tripped and rolled her ankle coming off the bus. And so here we're thinking, oh my gosh, is Narissa going to be able to play? Well, Narissa went out there and didn't have the offensive day that she had. Had 4 blocks though. Those were 4 huge blocks. And she went out there and she is very much a leader of this team. There's a whole group that just really follow her. And she did such a great job of leadership. And where she contributed, yesterday was a lot on the block and on the offensive side. Today she contributed in the leadership, and that was such a big deal for us.
We've talked about conference tournaments and what, one match, one swing could change your season completely for better or for worse. Is there a sense of relief to win this championship, considering what you've gone through this week with Amber, obviously not there? You mentioned the issues there with Narissa and as well as, Tali. To get through this, you knew what was at stake with a 40-18 feel, that what would happen if you didn't win this tournament. Is there a sense of, while excitement, also relief here?
I mean, you guys have known me a long time. I don't take a lot of pleasure in wins initially. I do months down the road. Any win, I don't care who it's against, it's a sense of relief. Right now, I just feel a sense of just deep breath. That's really what it is. The magnitude of what we accomplished, the magnitude of, the 3 years, and that'll all hit me sometime in July or August or something. Right now, I just can't even wrap my head around it. I'm just so proud of the people I work with. Love this group of women that I work with. We have such a great team, and we have people that didn't get Amari. Amari didn't get to play this year. We were really hoping that the NCAA waiver would grow through and he would be able to play, and and then Fabi not being able to play because of her shoulder. I mean, I just love this team. It's such a great group of people, and what's exciting for me is as I take a look forward to next year, we've got the opportunity to be just as good or even better next year. And that's something to kind of put a smile on my face. But right now it's about absorbing this and frankly, getting back to Orlando and getting ready for what's next.
Did you touch this trophy? And what did you think of McKenna handing hers off so quickly after receiving it?
I thought that was pretty amazing that McKenna found Drezzy and gave it to Drezzy. I don't think that was by accident. I think that was out of respect for what Drezzy went through for weeks, not just this weekend, but for weeks. I didn't get to touch a trophy. It wasn't by design. This one I wanted to touch, but it just somehow it got lost in a sea of humanity, and I never got my hands on it yet. Maybe what I'll do is when we're on the plane, I'll seatbelt it in next to me, and it can ride with me back home. But my fingerprints will be on this trophy. I guarantee it. I like championship trophies. Yes.
McKenna, 25 kills, 11 digs. Every time in postseason, her numbers, her game rises up to a different level. What could you say about her? Once again, best player on the court the last 2 days.
I think, with the adversity that we faced as a group this week, I sat her down in Thursday's practice. I said, Mac, we've been really trying to balance out the numbers, and she likes to be a big part of the offense. She likes to be about a third of the offense, but we've been really trying to keep it spread out amongst 5 and 6 hitters. And it's a little bit frustrating to somebody who's used to, running the ball 30 times a game. And, I thought she settled into that, but in Thursday's practice, I said, I don't know what we're going to get. I know that we have 2 setters that haven't played in the tournament format, that the most comfortable set they know how to make is going to be the one to the outside to a McKenna or a Tolly. I said, you might get 70 swings each match this weekend. Well, she got 67, I think, against Tulane, and she took 60 more tonight. So that turned out to be about right. I'm telling you what, if that kid is not the player of the year in this conference, there's no justice. I thought she was the player of the year in the conference last year, even despite the fact that Jordan Thompson is all world, all galaxy. I thought when it came down to it, I thought McKenna was the player of the year last year. And I think she absolutely positively deserves to be player of the year this year. I don't get the vote, so I don't have anything to say about it. But man, 50% kill both nights, hitting 300 plus, with teams knowing she's going to get the ball, just really making it easy for everybody around her to be good defensively, serve, receive. Her being solid allows Tolly to be solid in passing, allows Ari to focus on what Ari needs to focus on. McKenna is just that multi-tool player that is they just come along so rare. And it's exciting for her to have 3, and she has a chance to get 4 and maybe even 5, with the rules of the NCAA. And if I don't know, I've been around a long time. I know what All-Americans look like, and if she's not on an All-American team, it's just not fair. To me, she's already a 2-time multi-team All-American in my mind.
Earlier in the season, when we spoke with McKenna, she said, it's nice to get there, but, and we won in 19 and then the disappointing loss. This is a team that wants to go further. There's that unfinished business. You want to continue to advance in the NCAA tournament. And no doubt that's a motivator with this upcoming tournament for you.
I think one of the exciting things about the tournament this year is it appears the tournament's going to actually be seeded 1 through 48. And in the Olympic sports, it's always geography. So baseball, softball, soccer's, us, we always get Florida State in either the first or second round. So if it's Florida, we're playing a Final Four team in the second round every year. That gets old. I'm not going to lie. I understand how, why it's done. I can't say I agree with it, but I understand why it's done. So hopefully with everybody being in the same bubble in the same site in Omaha, they seed it 1 through 48 and we get to play somebody from out west or down, in the Southeast or Texas or Great Plains or Midwest or something like that. I think that would be awesome. So hopefully they seed this thing 1 through 48. Maybe we're on board for a seed. I don't know. You look at our season, we only lost 1 match, and that was to a really good Florida State team up at their place in 5. If not for that, if not for a couple bloops and errors in the third set, we run the table this year. We're undefeated. So we'll have to see how the committee, views our resume and where they put us. But wherever they put us, you got to go out. You got to win them all anyway. And so we'll take whatever they give us and we'll be happy with it. And we're going to take it and run with it as far as we can go.
Describe actually how the process will work for this tournament. You mentioned it's 48 teams. Does that mean top 16 get a bye in the first round?
What's going to happen? We've been watching people that kind of examine and study these things. And for a good part of the year, we've been in that top 16. We've been anywhere between 13 and 16. Now, I don't know where that's gone. I haven't seen the latest prediction of what that's going to be. So we've been flirting with one of the seeds, and yes, the top 16 get a bye. The other 32 play for the right to play one of the 16. So I don't know where we are. I've seen us having been in as a seed We might be 17, 18, 19, so be it. We don't care at this point. We just want to be together. We want to play more volleyball. We just want to take this and represent our school and go as far as we can go.
So with that in mind, what's it going to be like here, not knowing what your opponent's going to be for a change, as you mentioned earlier, this Selection Sunday?
We land tomorrow at 2:00. We'll find out at 4:00. We'll all get together, and coaches will immediately begin going to work on our first round opponent. So we'll find out right away who that's going to be. We'll have plenty of film on them. We'll get to work on it and start coming up with some game plans. And then probably put a little bit of work into what would be the second round, but you never get too far ahead of yourself. You just get just enough work so you're prepared. But primary focus is going to be in that first match, because if you don't win the first match, you don't get a chance to do the second one. So I'm going to put a lot of work into that first match and get ready to go.
Another championship, another piece in brand building. Just to conclude now with how important that is.
That's one of those existential questions, Trace, you always ask. And I never can answer those when my heart rate is still at 125 and I'm breathing at 60 breaths a minute. I don't know. I would love to give you some cerebrally intelligent answer, and I don't know. All I know is that winning championships is a really good thing. It's a good thing for your program. It's a great thing for your student athletes to have that kind of experience. It's a great thing for your administration to see that you provide all kinds of value to your department. There's just so many, I could go on and on and on and on, and I don't want to. Sean probably doesn't want me to. It's just really special. 3 is special. Two you can do. 3 is special. It's not done very often. If you go and you look back in the history of sports, number of teams to three-peat is really low. And so it's special. This is a special one. And it's because they had to be gritty and tough, not always good. They had to be tough. And they played some better teams than some of those other teams played. They were just grittier than those teams. They were tough. I respect that.
I ask you those because you do give good answers. So congratulations. Thank you.
You're welcome.